We'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. This Saturday in lovely Druid Hill Park with Baltimore City Councilman Carl Stokes. That's the mansion in the back there?
Yeah, that is the mansion. And it's restored. People should come out and see what's going on. Hey, this park is one of the greatest parks in the country. You know that Central Park and Druid Hill Park. That's what they usually say them in the same breath. Central Park, Druid Hill Park in Baltimore.
And what's the occasion today, all of these people?
Yeah, the Department of Transportation are here today with a picnic. The new director, William Johnson, a brother, just up from Florida, has been here about 4 months. And they just did a great job with the Grand Prix. Whether you love the Grand Prix or not, these individuals, these folk, made sure it went all smooth last week. And they continue to do a great job in our city. Department of Transportation annual picnic.
September the 9th, an important day for you. Legislatively, the Harbor Point project comes back up.
Yeah, it does. It comes up for final reading September 9th, Monday. And the vote, I assume, is going to be the same. It's going to pass as it is without amendments, etc. There will be a few amendments offered. For example, there's a labor peace agreement that one of the unions has asked that we put forward. AFL-CIO supports it. There's a request that we put $3 million of city money into inclusionary housing, market rate housing on this particular site. Right now, there is no market rate housing coming, and so we're looking forward to not a contentious day because the votes are way gone to support this project, and I think there are others who will continue to say it's not the best for Baltimore and its citizens, but we'll move forward.
Why isn't it the best? Or what would make it better? I mean, what's the deal?
Well, this project will wind up costing the citizens of Baltimore $400 million in lost revenue or subsidies to the project. In all, it will be $800 million that we've given to this particular developer at Harbor East and Harbor Point. $800 million of taxpayer dollars. And this is a billionaire company. Multi-millionaires are involved in this project. It's a private enterprise, and so private enterprise sometimes needs some public support to get it going. This project is way beyond getting it going. It doesn't need taxpayer dollars anymore, particularly at a point where people are losing their homes over water bills, or they're just paying too high water bills, and sometimes the water bill is fraudulent, and sometimes there are inspectors sitting at home or on a golf course and making up numbers for water bills. There are small businesses in town. They're paying high taxes, and they can't hire more people to grow the economy in Baltimore City. And we're giving billionaire companies tax dollars.
What's their argument?
Their argument is that they're billionaires, frankly. Well, seriously, their argument is that they need money to make this happen, which of course is not true. If a billionaire company cannot make it with great property on a waterfront, if they can't do it, then the city should take a lesson from them and say, if they can't do it with their money, then we ought not put up our money, the taxpayer money, to try to do it. The truth is, Donnie, they can do it with their own money. If you check the analysis that was done on this project, the analysis says they can do it and get a strong 10% return on their money. They say 10% is not good enough return. They want 15%. So it's not up to the taxpayers to guarantee them a super income. It is absolutely the wrong thing to do. You would take a 10%, I would take a 10%, all of us would take a 10% return on our money. And for private enterprise to say, we need the taxpayer money to line our pockets even more is immoral.
Do you find this fits a pattern in terms of, because I've heard in previous interviews that the Baltimore Development Corporation is a part of this?
Well, it is. Development Corporation, Baltimore Development Corporation offers people money, whether or not it's the best deal for the citizens or not. They're in some mode, and have been for a decade or so, where they just offer money. I can tell you that I've talked to developers who say to me, you know, I didn't ask for money when I went down there. They offered me money. I had an idea, I had a project. We were either had the financing or was gathering the financing, and they said, hey, we got some money for you. Now, any business person would be a fool to say,
turn down money.
I don't want it, keep your money. They don't say that. So,
Well, I guess what's interesting is we see this BDC interest in developing downtown, as it should be. Should they have similar interest in developing uptown? Like Park Heights is still waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, of course. And if I could just push back just a little bit, their interest is not developing downtown, because they're actually bastardizing downtown, because regardless of what you hear, they are hurting downtown. They are taking businesses that are on one side of Pratt Street and enticing them to move to the other side of Pratt Street. Meanwhile, where they were, the buildings where they were, are vacant or near vacant. They're paying less tax because the assessment is down, and then they move to a brand new space that is subsidized by taxpayers, and they're paying little or no tax. So, but directly to your question, of course they should be taking care of Park Heights and Oliver and Rosemont and
when do these neighborhoods ever get taken care of? I mean,
they don't.
But shouldn't we have balance? A little downtown, a little uptown?
Right. We should take care of the outer harbor, because we've been taking care of the inner harbor for 35 years. And I know most of us remember when 35, 40 years ago, we were told, look, take care of Harbor Place, take care of the Rouse Company. Make sure we give our tax dollars to the Rouse Company, because in a few years, that money's going to come uptown. It never came uptown, Donnie. And what they're saying to us right now is, give us the money more on the waterfront, because eventually that money will come uptown. It's not true. See, they can't tell us anymore that in the future the money's going to come uptown, because we have a historical perspective now of 35 to 40 years to see it doesn't come uptown.
What about critics who say that you have something to gain out of this?
What do I have to gain, Donnie? I have nothing to gain out of it, except, oh yeah, I do have something to gain. I have East Baltimore looking a heck of a lot better than it looks today. I have my friends who live in West Baltimore that have a heck of a lot to gain today. I'm not a developer. I'm not enriched by developers and, you know, people who have the facts against them. They turn to ridiculing, they turn to personal attacks, they turn to...
I mean, the Sun Paper article wasn't necessarily nice talking about you.
It's fine. They say one of the developers who's not in downtown is a friend of mine. Let me just name it, Peter Angelos. Okay, fine. Do you know 2 years ago, they tried to unelect me, your governor, your mayor. They tried to unelect me 2 years ago, and you know they came on the floor of the city council 3 weeks ago and told me, the Beatty development people told me, they're going to unelect me. They're going to whip my behind. They're going to throw me out of office.
How could that guy do that? Is he a resident? I really wanted to ask him, does he vote in your district?
He doesn't vote. Okay. It's an arrogance of corruption. They are wannabe mobsters, Donnie. They've been watching The Sopranos and Wise Guys.
Has he ever heard of EDO?
Listen, I don't even want to
East Side Democratic Organization. I mean, he said he was going to unelect you. That was pretty bold. I mean, it's like he doesn't live in your district.
And he doesn't affect anything in my district. And frankly...
it was pretty gangster.
They think they're gangsters because they influence politicians. They pay people. They get what they want. They roll over the common man and woman. The average man and woman says, we need better schools, we need recreation centers, we need jobs, we need safe neighborhoods. And the gangsters say, screw all of you folk, we have greased the system, right? It's payola, it's graft, it's corruption. And so these would-be mobsters have this arrogance of corruption with them. And they can walk onto the city council floor.
He said it, that's where he said it.
And threaten the councilman. And my colleagues at that point should say, you get your behind off of this floor. In other words, he's not threatening me because he can't threaten me.
He disrespected the institution.
He disrespected the institution. And the institution
no respect.
Has to say no. The institution has to say no. We'll have our in-house fight with Carl or Jack or whomever. But you will not come from outside the institution
Amen.
and disrespect us. And that's what's happening. So they have nothing but lies, innuendos, and more lies. And when they have not the facts on their side, Donnie, they just lie. That's it. They just lie.
Thank you for your time. Baltimore City Councilman Carl Stokes. Keep watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.